What's going on YouTube? Jake here with Venture Visuals, and today I'm going to be covering 3 of the most popular music video effects that I see used in music videos. Now we're going to be using Adobe Premiere Pro to remake these effects. If you don't have Adobe Premiere Pro, bear with me because most likely these effects you can also use in your editing software as well, especially if you have a professional grade software like Sony Vegas, DaVinci Resolve, or Final Cut Pro X. Without further ado, let's jump into my timeline here. The first effect we're going to be covering is masking. Masking is when you have one clip on top of another clip, and on the top clip you have something moving across your frame, like a tree, could be a car, could be a building. So I have a car that moves from the right side of the frame to the left side of the frame. Now I wanted that to reveal the clip underneath it. This is one whole clip where the truck moves from the right to the left and it reveals the clip underneath. So first let me delete the mask that I've already created and we'll start from scratch. So this is the raw clip right here where it doesn't reveal the clip underneath. So as you can see, I made a cut where the mask is going to begin right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and go one frame to the right, and you'll notice that we start to see the background. So this is where I want the next clip to start coming in. I want it to be revealed as if it's in the background of this truck moving from right to left. So what I have to do is click on your truck clip, come up here to the pen tool, and you're just gonna kind of trace around the back side of this truck. I usually spend a lot of time making these masks as good as I can, as close to the object as I can, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm gonna kind of speed through it. I'm gonna go ahead and make a keyframe there. Now you'll notice the truck goes away, so we have to invert that mask so that it knows we're not trying to mask in the truck, we're trying to mask in the background. So make sure you just hit that inverted there. I usually leave the mask feather where it's at. Now what I'm gonna do here is just go 5 or 6 frames to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm gonna click back on this mask. So you'll see that we made that first keyframe at the beginning. Now you gotta be careful because obviously some of these key points can get a little tricky. So play around with it, guys, but you're really just gonna drag these points up to the back of the car like this. You wanna make sure that you get the whole clip all the way there at the bottom, which is perfect like that. Now it automatically makes a keyframe from this point on, and a keyframe basically just tells Adobe Premiere Pro, hey, we want the mask to start at this point and end up at this point. So now we're just gonna go another 5 frames to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, and we're gonna click back on the mask, and we're just gonna keep the points moving, maybe create a new one here at the top, maybe angle it out more like the car. Now if you start losing points at the top, change your screen zoom in setting and it will reveal all the points that you've made. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep going 5 frames over and keyframing this mask like this. And I just want to restate, guys, that this is by no means a good mask that I'm doing here. Normally when I do recreate this effect, when I'm editing a music video, I go frame by frame by frame. So it does take me a long time occasionally to make this effect, especially with something that's like a car, because a car's got kind of a different shape. Now if you're using like a tree that's going in front of you, those usually form a pretty straight line, so making the mask is usually not pretty hard. Let's go ahead and check it out now that I've finished the mask, and we can see fully that this clip underneath has now been revealed. So now if I scroll back through it, you can see that we get that effect where the truck is on the top clip and reveals the clip underneath. So now in full motion, let's check it out. How much longer do I need to wait? And it's a really smooth way to kind of guide the viewer's eye from one clip to the next as well. So the next effect I want to cover is called rotoscoping, and it's basically what you see when a person is cut out and their body is like sliding across the frame, or if it could be a car, it could be anything. But most often used in music videos, it's going to be whoever the person is that's rapping or singing. So for this example, I have this clip of him walking next to this car. Now I want to transition into this clip by rotoscoping him out of this clip and kind of having him slide across the frame. This clip that I have now is slow motioned, so what I have to do before I bring it into After Effects is click on it, right click, and hit nest. And this will just save our frame rate. It will be the same in Adobe Premiere Pro as it is in Adobe After Effects. And then I right click on it and hit replace with After Effects composition, and it will link directly to my project in Adobe Premiere Pro. So I don't have to render this out of After Effects. It'll just appear back in Adobe Premiere Pro with whatever effects I use on it in Adobe After Effects. So we'll just call this rotoscope example. So the first thing we want to do to get him cut out of this clip is just click on our roto brush tool right next to this thumbtack icon. It's this guy with the brush, and all we're going to do is double click now on our composition. Now you should get this green icon that pops up, and now you can start tracing. So we're just going to trace around him. Now it is really easy to trace somebody like this because they are very separated from the background colors. He's obviously got a different shirt on. Now if he was wearing a green shirt and we had all this green background back here, this rotoscope effect would take a lot longer to make it work, but because he's very contrasted from the background, this effect is going to work pretty easily. So as you can see here on our first frame, we got pretty much all of him cut out. Now the parts of him that I don't want cut out, I just hold my Option key and click and drag over those parts like this. Now I'm just going to tab over using the 2 key on my keyboard. This will just take us frame by frame. So we'll just go every like 6 or 7 frames and then just click back on the person that we're rotoscoping like this, and you can see it just does a great job of just doing it automatically because he's so easily cut out of this background, and boom. So now when we go back up to our composition, you'll see that he is absolutely just cut out of the background. If I turn on transparency, you can see that there's a transparent background now, and what we can do is just hit Command S, hop back over into Adobe Premiere Pro, and now we can see that he is also in the foreground of this new clip. So what I want to have happen now is just have him slide in from the left to the right where he's standing so that it can transition into the next clip seamlessly. Go into Adobe After Effects, go to Transform, go all the way to the last frame where your person or subject is available, and just make a keyframe under position. So that's just going to set his position for that point in time. Now we're going to go back to the beginning, and we're going to drag him over to the left like this. And then last but not least is we're going to click on this second keyframe that we just made, the final keyframe, right click on it, go down to Keyframe Assistant and hit Easy Ease In. That's just going to give us a more stylish slide in from the left. It's going to be a little bit more eased instead of just jolting in. Next thing you want to do, and make sure you do this because it'll make your motion look a lot nicer, is turn on motion blur here in your composition tools, and then you want to make sure that it's also selected right here. You're going to notice now we have this blurriness, so now when I play it back, so that's a lot more cooler, a lot more cinematic than, for instance, I turn motion blur off. It's going to be a little bit more harsh on the eyes. So you want to make sure that you turn motion blur on anytime you're creating movement in a video. From here, I'm just going to hit Command S, and then I'm just going to hop right back into Adobe Premiere Pro. So now that I'm back in Adobe Premiere Pro, let's take a look at what this transition looks like. So you can see it's just a really smooth way to go from one clip to the next, and it's a really easy way to guide the viewer's eye to the next frame without just jolting into the next frame. Definitely give it a shot if you have After Effects. You can try rotoscoping cars, people, trees, buildings, it doesn't matter. But play around with it, get really good at using this tool because it will matter. Rotoscoping is huge if you're editing music videos. Learn how to make cool stuff with this effect, and from here you can get really creative with rotoscoping. It doesn't just have to be with transition. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff. So that brings me to my third and final effect that I see being used in a lot of music videos, and that is the glowing line SABER effect. Now to get this effect, you do have to download the SABER plugin. It is a completely 100% free plugin, and you can make these really cool glowing line outlines around people, subjects. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about. So I reopened up my After Effects file. Now what I want to have happen is this glowing line to appear around him. In order to make this happen, I do have to render this clip out. So what I'm going to do is just hit Composition, Add to Render Queue, make sure that my output module says lossless with alpha, and then I'm just going to click on the name and save it as Rotoscope times SABER. I'm just going to hit Enter from here, hit Render. Renders out really quickly, as you can see. Go to wherever I just rendered out that file. So mine rendered out to the desktop. If I hit clean up by date created, You should see it pop up here in the top left. And so I can actually hide the linked layer now that I have this MOV. Go to the very first frame and you're going to come up here to layer and you're going to hit auto trace. From here, you have to hit work area so that it auto traces the entire area of your composition. So for us, it's going to be about 12 frames that it's going to trace our subject. So we're just going to hit OK from here. And now we're going to see that it traces the actual movement of our subject going from left to right, which is great. We don't want the auto trace layer on top. We want it below the person or object that we're tracing. So from here, what we're gonna do is go up to your effects and presets. Now, once you download the SABER plugin, you're gonna see this folder right here called Video Copilot. You're gonna take that SABER plugin and drag it right onto your auto trace layer like this. Now you're gonna change your preset and you can play around with these however much you want. Personally, I really like this energy one. It's pretty cool. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up my customized core. I'm gonna go to core type and I'm gonna change it from SABER to layer masks. So now we have this cool glowing line outline around him, but we have this black space behind him. We want this black space to just be transparent. We don't want it to be black behind here. So in order to change that, we're gonna go to render settings, come down to composite settings and change it from black to transparent. And now we get this cool transparent background like this. You can play around with these settings however much you like, and honestly play around with these ones right here at the top. And these ones, you know, you can change a bunch of stuff with the line. Maybe I want to change it to like blue. That's cool. Now I'm gonna go to add to render queue and do the same thing. I'm gonna render it out with a transparent background, and I'm gonna call this Roto times SABER. That's gonna go ahead and render out our person for us. And now I'm gonna come back over here into Adobe Premiere Pro, and I'm gonna go ahead and delete our linked file that we had previously, and I'm gonna bring in our new rotoscope SABER file right here. Now, I know mine was timed up a little bit weird, so I'm gonna have to time this up, maybe move it one frame to the left, and that's perfect. So let's take a look at what this effect looks like in full motion. Now you can use this effect in a lot of different ways too. The SABER plugin is one of the most popular plugins currently used in today's music video industry. And if you disagree, let me know in the comments, because honestly, I think this is one of the most overused yet most useful effects for music videos, because you can just get so creative with these glowing lines, especially because the plugin is free. I highly recommend downloading it and checking it out, especially if you use After Effects. Now, before I let you guys go, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to this tutorial. If you enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments, and also hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Check out my website, venturvisuals.com. I got a bunch of overlays, transitions on there for music video edits, creative edits, and I also have some SABER transitions, which I use the SABER plugin to make. So if you guys are interested in anything like that at all, downloading some visual assets that could be useful for your music videos, I'll include a link from my website below in my description. And also, guys, let me know in the comments what is your favorite music video effect, and what is one effect that is really overused that you see a lot of other people using as well. So once again, guys, I really appreciate you guys tuning in for my tutorial. As always, I'm Jake Venner with Venture Visuals. Until next time, peace out.